Yeah.
Hillary Clinton is indeed in full debate prep mode. She has no event scheduled this weekend. She's prepping for the debate. Mr. Trump is still campaigning. I believe he's going to be out in Virginia tomorrow. And look at this. Now, just take a cursory look right at that. This is the latest Marist University poll. Shows Hillary Clinton up by 7 points nationally. That's quite a poll. Now, the last time that poll was taken, that was last month, Hillary Clinton was up 15 points. Now she's up 7 points. Come on in, Chris Wallace, Fox News Sunday host, the man who will moderate the third presidential debate. Chris, we've just seen this poll. Looks to us like Trump is narrowing the gap with Hillary Clinton. She still has 48% support, the same as she did last month. It's Trump that's come up, as opposed to Clinton, who's gone down. What do you make of this poll?
Well, I think that there's certainly, and you can't make too much of any one poll, Stuart. You've got to look at a bunch of them. That's why these averages of polls, I think, are so much more effective. There's no question that the gap is tightening, that he's doing better. And a lot of them, she is going down. That's the one thing that I think may be a bit of an outlier here. But she clearly has a lead. And she clearly has a lead in a lot of the swing states. Although, you know, it's fascinating. It looked for a while like Virginia and Colorado she had put out of reach. She was up like double digits in both. Yeah. And then I saw a poll yesterday that showed that she's only up 3 or 4 points in each. So you know, it's, and of course, any of these polls are going to be out of date after Monday, because that will certainly, if not dramatically reshape, it will certainly alter the race to some degree. But it gives us a sense as we go in. She's got a lead. She's got an easier path to 270 electoral votes than he does. But he's definitely tightened it. And in a couple of the key swing states, like Ohio, he may actually be leading.
Chris, would you just hold on for a second? I've got some breaking, developing news on how Mr. Trump is preparing for the debate. Ashley's got the story. Listen in for a second.
Yeah, a couple of interesting angles coming from the Trump camp, saying that they're trying to tell the candidate, Mr. Trump, to let Hillary Clinton talk on and on. They say that that is when she starts to lose viewers and supporters, when she continues to talk and talk. Secondly, they say that they know that she's very polished and well-rehearsed on all the questions, the first initial answer, but she starts to stumble on all the follow-up questions, and they're focusing on that.
So that's what they're doing in terms of debate
some
prep.
Of that theory, yes.
Any comment, Chris? I'm sure you heard that.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit, particularly in the first one, of spin about that. You've got to remember that some of the things that they're telling us are things they may believe, and some of them are things that they kind of want to put into our head or put into the heads of the opponents. And I will tell you that the Clinton camp says exactly the opposite, which is that they hope that Trump talks and talks because they think that after he gets through his lines that he begins to falter a bit. I will tell you one thing that I do believe is the case, and that is that I've heard from sources in the Trump camp that they understand the fact that clearly she is going to have more facts and be better versed in a lot of these issues than he is, but they want to try to turn that around on her the way that Barack Obama turned it around on Clinton in 2008, when she talked about the fact that she had more experience in a lot of these issues than a new young senator like Barack Obama. And that Trump will, in effect, echo Obama and say, well, look where all that experience got us. You know, it got us into Iraq. It got us into Obamacare, and try and turn her greater experience into a liability rather than an asset.
Now, the moderators are under a lot of pressure here. Hillary's supporters want the moderators to fact-check Trump. I don't think you want to do that when you moderate the presidential debate, now do you?
Well, look, you know, I know my colleague, our colleague, Matt Lauer, took a huge hit, a lot of criticism that he hadn't fact-checked Trump during that commander-in-chief one. The big difference is that was an interview, so it was only Lauer and Trump on the stage. Well, there's going to be another person on the stage in the debate, and that is Hillary Clinton. So my feeling about this, generally speaking, and it goes both ways, is, you know, I think one of the best questions I can ask if somebody says something perhaps questionable is to just say to the other one, well, what about that? And let them do it. I really, to a large degree, take a minimalist view of this. Nobody turns in to watch, as our colleague Bob Schieffer says, nobody turns in to watch the umpire during a baseball game. They tune in to watch the players. And my feeling is, you know, I want to see them debating and fact-checking each other not me doing it.
Unless the umpire steps right into the middle of the game, which has happened in presidential debates. I want to bring you one more story here. We broke this earlier. Donald Trump is about to release more possible Supreme Court nominees. Senator Mike Lee, a Ted Cruz guy, we know is one of these Trump nominees, or who he would nominate if he were president. What do you make of this, Chris?
Well, I'm a little surprised. He already put out, Trump did, a big list of very respected conservative jurists and public figures as potential Supreme Court nominees. This certainly will help him with the Cruz, Lee, Tea Party wing of the party, and to the degree that he is trying to build up support, you know, and unify the party going into the first debate. But you might see Hillary Clinton go after that and try and take some of the positions that Mike Lee or Ted Cruz has taken over the years, a lot of which are certainly conservative and socially conservative, and try to use those against Trump. Sure. It's kind of an interesting and I must say a little bit surprising thing for him to be doing 2 days before the debate.
How would you describe your condition, Chris? Nervous or focused in advance of the third presidential debate?
Impatient, I would say. Because,
really?
Well, yeah, because
100 million people are going to watch you, Chris Wallace.
Oh, please don't do that. Don't do that to me, Stuart.
Okay.
But here's
50 million
point.
are going to watch you.
Well, that isn't a lot better. Here's the point. On the one hand, you really want to get going. It's a big assignment, a big responsibility. But on the other hand, you really can't, because you want to see the first debate, see what's talked about there. And just think of this last week. I mean, if we were talking a week ago, they hadn't had the terrible bombing in New York. We hadn't had those 2 African Americans shot and killed in Tulsa and Charlotte, and that has dramatically changed what I suspect are going to be Lester Holt's questions. So, yes, you can do a lot of preparation and spade work, but to some degree, you got to be nimble and focus on what's hot and what's on people's minds as you go into that debate. And in my case, it's not until the 19th of October.
Chris, I would be a bowl of jelly, but that's another story. Be sure to tune in. Fox News Sunday. Join Chris. He's going to sit down with the Republican vice presidential nominee. That would be Governor Mike Pence.